Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds podcast. The Hounds podcast is proud to partner with Outdoor Dog Supply yet again for the 2026 year. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online garment sales with their world-class trade-in programs. These guys are not just a business, they are houndsmen and women too. They test their products out there in the field and put them to the test every day during hunting season and field trial season, guys. Get the latest in garment equipment, stay locked and ready with field trial equipment, collars, leashes, and so much more. Visit their website today at outdoordogsupply.com, and we want to thank Outdoor Dog Supply again for their support, not only for the podcast, but for field trials across the country, our help in fighting to keep our rights as houndsmen and women across the states. And when you're looking for your next purchase and equipment, keep Outdoor Dog Supply in mind. Now, let's get this episode going, guys. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. In this episode, I'm joined by Little Man. Hi, buddy. How are you? Good. You want to say hi to everybody real quick? Hi. Yeah. Say, we spent some time at the dog lights this weekend? Get that out your boy. Yeah. So what did you help Dad do to the dogs?
Dyed them.
We dyed them.
Wow.
Yeah, we had to dye some dogs and get ready to take down to Mr. Ben Gaskins.
Hello.
See, they were going to boot camp, weren't they?
What'd you say?
They were going to boot camp, weren't they?
Why?
Because they had to go to the break-in pen.
Why you do that? Because I don't know how to do
that. Say, because we don't get quite the pleasure running time up here in Virginia, so we got to send them and let them get broke like that.
Why you do? It just turned to yellow.
All right, buddy. All right,
why you do that?
All right, say bye to everybody, okay?
Bye.
All right, going upstairs, back up there with Mom, okay?
I'm going to take Kai.
All right, you can take Kai. Love you. All right, I'll be back after I get done. He was insistent that he wanted to be a part of this again, so I wasn't going to deny him. So, welcome, everybody. Anyway, sorry. No, well, everybody had a good weekend, and like I said, we took some pups down to Mr. Ben Gaskins this past weekend. Going to go see how those dogs do. We'll go in for a week or two of boot camp. Hopefully come back and be ready to start hitting with those dogs a little bit. And maybe even try to get some puppy hunting in. Not a big puppy hunter by any means, but I like to get a little test drive with some of these dogs before they go into the off season. Well, I say off season. Y'all know how that goes. But anyway, I want to give a quick 2 shout-outs real quick. One is to my buddy, Mr. Doug Fuqua. I know this happens a lot with some of your bigger names and a lot of the, how do I say it, more, experienced or more, got a lot more dogs, a lot more breedings out there. But my buddy, Mr. Doug Fuqua, he this weekend off of his dogs, off of his stock, made 2 field champions. Now, not him himself, but dogs that were off of his stuff, made 2 field champions and placed, and I think 2 more pins as well, including himself up there in Kentucky at the 2-day Derby. And then, of course, Mr. Mason Tilley's, just absolutely dominant performance down there at Tar River this weekend with the Southern Classic. I think it was, if I remember right, it was a 200-point gap on second place. So that dog just had a weekend. Not often that you see that kind of thing. A lot of times it comes down to the wire and you're kind of guessing or have a good idea, but that dog just socked it to them all weekend. I was not there, but what an incredible deal. But congratulations, Mr. Tilley. And Mr. Doug, congratulations to you making a field champion. Well, off of your stock, making a field champion down there at Tar River and at the Twin Lakes. Mr. Mannix Knights made a field champion at Twin Lakes in Kentucky. So definitely a great weekend for you, sir. Great weekend for everybody that placed. I am definitely looking forward to getting back to the pen after getting my butt whooped at the Masters the other week. So we're definitely ready for that. But I do apologize. It is going to be me riding solo again tonight. I say tonight for this episode. I've got about 5 or 6 guys on the hook, man, and it's just scheduling. It's just getting them to bite and getting guys to come on. I promise you, I know it sounds like I'm feeding a line of bull, but I am trying my hardest to make that happen, guys. I'm trying. I promise you I'm trying. But soon we will have guests on here again, I promise. I'm trying to get something lined up for this weekend. That way next week we have something. But it's a busy time of the year. Every year's busy. And then, of course, I'm sure most of y'all have seen it. I've added more to my plate by adding in a side business. Doing pressure washing on the side. So if you're in the Appomattox area, Lynchburg, surrounding areas, hit me a message and see what I can be glad to come give you a free quote on a soft wash pressure washing job on your house and whatever else you can think of. So, but that's all. Now that all the formals are out of the way, we are going to talk about this topic. And the title of this episode is going to be, Are You Ready? I think we've talked about this before. I think another one of my riding solo episodes, we've had this conversation. We've had this discussion of being a houndsman, what it takes, the work, the effort, the time, everything that's in it, responsibilities. But I think what I haven't gotten into, I think one of those other episodes we talked about just being a houndsman. It wasn't anything extra. It wasn't field trialing. It wasn't anything like that. So on this episode, I want to talk about a little more in depth. I mean, there's stages of being a houndsman to me. There is the beginner, just getting into it, getting a dog or two. Then there's the little more experienced. You're getting your feet wet. You finally got you some good dogs. Maybe you're having a good success on the outside. You know, your deer woods are looking good, and then you start getting that itch of, well, how good are my dogs? You know, I know that's what happened to me. I had a good set of dogs. I really enjoyed running them. I loved running those dogs. They did everything I could ask for. I got an itch. I did. I said, man, I really want to see. Next thing I know, here I am. 5 years later, 6 years later, however long it's been now, and I got a podcast and 20-something dogs at the house, and you know, running weekly in the fox pen. So this is a conversation that I kind of wish. No, I don't regret getting in. I don't regret anything, but it was definitely an eye opener. I think it's getting more and more intense as we progress as a sport. That there's a lot of things that you need to be prepared for. So, like I said, the topic of today is going to be, are you ready? And more specifically towards the field trialing. First off, are you ready for dogs in general? You know, some of this beginning part is going to be for guys that are just getting in. You got to remember, guys, if you're listening to this episode and you're like, you know, maybe you just stumbled across it and said, yeah, I'm looking into dogs. I want to get into dogs, and I want to learn about it and see what it takes. Please remember, and I think even guys that are in it, that are dabbling in it, that are in the beginning stages of this stuff and wondering, why are my dogs not getting any better? Why when I cast my dogs, are they running the roads? Are they going crazy? Are they not running and jumping anything? Why am I going to the fox pen and getting my tail beat every single freaking time? Dogs are not a car or a video game or a inanimate object. I guess that's the right terminology there. They're not. They have a life, so they're not a lifeless hobby. So like golf or a pair of boxing gloves or football. You know, these are living, breathing animals. These are living, breathing creatures that require attention all the time. Now, obviously, you know, it's not a 24/7 thing, but it's not something you can just hang up like a coat, like a raincoat, and only pull it out when it's raining, when you need it. These are something that once you are in it, you got to be ready to accept the responsibilities of it. And I can go deep into this. But I know I have another episode, and I should have done my research before, but excuse me, I did not. And I know we've talked about it more in depth on that process. Go back, find that episode, and see and listen to that for the full-on breakdown. I mean, you got to be thinking about things like if you have a jailbreak in the middle of the day and you're at work and you get a call and say, hey, your dog's on my property, I don't want it here, come get it. Guess what? Your responsibility to either find somebody to go get it or, hey, boss, I got to take an hour lunch. I'll be back in a little bit. I got to go catch a dog in Timbuktu and go put him back in the lots. So just getting into dogs in general is a life-changing responsibility. I mean, I'm sure most of y'all heard the old phrase when you were growing up of, oh, I want a puppy, and then your dad's like, well, I'm not taking it out to go take a poop. While that might be the case, you're thinking, if you get multiple dogs, especially, when you get into these kind of sports, that we're centered around, deer dog hunting and field trialing, you're not just having one or two. I mean, most people aren't. At least you're going to have 10, 15, 20 dogs sitting around ready to go. That's 10, 15 dogs you got to take and be responsible for. So I want to break it down a little bit. So let's move into the field trialing side of this. So, all right, guys, we're going to interrupt the episode again real quick. The Hounds Tales podcast would like to take a second and talk about our friends over at Cajun Lights. Whether you're pleasure running at night or judging nighttime field trials, put your trust in Cajun Lights, guys. With the economical Cajun Bayou for the every now and then light user, the Cajun Micro for your nighttime feeds, and trust me, that sucker comes in handy. And to the top level Cajun Blinder for the hardcore crossing getters. The Cajun Lights are headlights style lamps that free up your hands for voice recorders and your GPS. They offer flood style lights in red, amber, and a white walking light. Then the top of the line 4-level main beam light. If you're having a hard time catching crossings at night, give the Cajun Light a try. With the red and amber setting to catch the game with an easy flick of a switch, go right back to your main beam light, guys, and see your hounds in action. Visit their store today at CajunLights.com or check out. Make sure that you fill out the survey and select Hounds Tales Podcast to receive 5% off your next purchase from Cajun Lights. Guys, trust me. Tough lights. Cannot say enough good about these guys. And Made in America products. Be sure to check them out. CajunLights.com. All right, I won't hold y'all up no more. Let's get back to the episode, guys. Here we go. Of course, like I said, we've talked about deer dog hunting, just owning dogs in previous episodes. This one is going to be strictly on what it takes to get into field trialing. Are you ready for this? So the first thing that you really have to come to terms with and accept is time. Do you have the time? To compete, you'll be running multiple dogs weekly. This is going to be something that is going to take up a lot of time, especially when you get to the point where you have multiple age groups. First starting off and firing off, you're going to have a handful of dogs. They're all probably going to be around the same age, and there's no need for you to be separating dogs or running multiple packs, which is great. And I highly encourage anybody in this to stay like that. Don't let it get further than that. If you can figure a way out to do it, don't get further than that. I'm going to use me as an example. And this is just that time thing, okay? Just food for thought here. I have 24 dogs at the house, and we've downsized. I have 24 dogs at the dog lots right now. So you're looking at daily roughly 30 minutes to an hour on feeding, watering, cleaning, taking care of things, making sure the lots are still in good shape, giving a little love and attention, you're looking at 30 minutes to an hour daily. Do you have that time? Do you have a spare hour in your day every day? And that's not, trust me, if I was a single man without a kid, I'd probably be spending 2 hours over there every day, because I would be taking every dog out, or at least a handful of dogs out daily, and benching them, practicing with them on the bench. I'd be doing all this, doing that, cleaning up, making sure everything's perfect over there. But when you got a wife, kid, responsibilities at home, being over at the dog wash for 2 hours, that's not necessarily something that can happen. So you got to be willing to dedicate 30 minutes, an hour of your day every day. They have to eat, they have to drink, they have to be clean. Can you do that? Now, that's just maintenance. That doesn't even include going to buy the dog food, going to get the medicines, going to do this, going to the vet, whatever it takes. Now you got to pleasure run these dogs. If you're going to compete, these dogs got to be active. They got to be in it. They got to be, these are athletes. You don't just take, Michael Phelps didn't just sit on the couch all week and then go to the Olympics and go win it. He trained. He trained weekly, trained daily probably, and was in it all the time. So you're going to be running, I'm going to use me for an example. We run every Monday night between 2 different pens, and we're either running 5 hours at night or 3 hours at night. Sometimes we run multiple times a week if we need to sneak some extra runs in there. Do you have the energy? Do you have the time? Do you have the ability to push yourself and say, yep, when I get off of work, I'm going to go home, I'm going to load up, I'm going to take 10, 15, 20 dogs, and we're going to the fox pen, coyote pen. We're going to cast at whatever time I can. I'm going to run till as long as I can, and then I'm going to get up, pick all the dogs up, take them back to the dog lots, get back home 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever the case may be, and sleep for an hour or two, and then go to work. Guess what? Welcome to field trialing. Welcome to prep. Welcome to prep for a field trial. Now, of course, if you're blessed to own your own business, and that's what I'm striving for, and you can do different things, you can make your own schedule, that's fine. But I'm going to use this term lightly. For the common man, running dogs till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and then turning around and going to work at 7 is tough. It's tough. I just did it last night, and I got home at 3:30. Laid my head down, woke up at 5:30, got a shower, got dressed, went to work, took an hour nap on lunch, and kept on digging. Now I'm sitting here recording. Do you have the time for that? Do you have the ability, the drive, the passion behind you to sacrifice that night of sleep? These Wednesday night hunts, these Monday night hunts, these Friday night hunts, they're popping up more and more and more too. You want to go hit some of these one days? Guess what? Wednesday night, you're getting ready to drive 30 minutes. You're getting ready to drop 2 hours. Come on back to the house, and all on the hope that you win, And that I was talking to our co-host, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jackson Williams, excuse me. And he gives me a lot of grief. He gives me a lot of crap, just messing with me, of course. And talks about how it's really easy. It's a lot easier. I'm not going to say it's really easy, but it's a lot easier for them to get pleasure running time. When up here in Virginia, it is, you better have a night, or you better know enough people you can ask around and go with some people or whatever. I mean, it's difficult to get a night. You got to plan it out. You can't just take that wing on a Wednesday and say, yep, my schedule freed up. Let me go text a couple guys and see if I can get in somewhere tonight. No, trust me, if you didn't plan this stuff out a week ahead of time, 2 weeks ahead of time, then excuse me, you are not getting in, brother. Not up here. And that's tough. That's tough. And we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a little bit. So now that's pleasure running. Now, sometimes it's a little easier to get on the weekend. So you're wanting to compete. You can't get in on the weekdays. You can get on the weekends, though. You say you don't want to mess your sleep up on the weekdays where you got to go to work. I can't take that. Okay, then now you got to run on the weekends. So guess what? Are you able to go on the weekends? Are you able to say, bye, honey, either come with me or sit at home by yourself on a Saturday night, this weekend, next weekend, and possibly the following weekend? Are you able to do that? Be real with yourself. I'm not saying that to sound cocky or sound like, or have an arrogance about it. Respect your wife, respect your girlfriend. Make sure, they need that heads up too. They need that warning shot of saying, hey, look, there's going to be weekends where I'm going to be gone. There's going to be weekends that I have to give up with you if you don't want to go, and that's perfectly fine. My wife doesn't come with me. That's our time to ourselves. You need to make sure that you're able to do that with your whatever situation you're in, whether it be having to be a caregiver at home for somebody, whether you are the breadwinner and need to be there and taking care of the family. Whatever the case is, make sure that you're able to get away on these weekends, because you can train all you want to, but if you can't get off on the weekends and go to a hunt, what are you doing? Now you're just taking up spot in a pen that somebody could be using that actually can go compete. So be ready to give up your weekends. You're going to be sacrificing your weekends. I say sacrifice. I'm going to use that word loosely. I'm going to say exchanging. I'm going to say exchanging your weekends for time with family and friends and doing things and doing activities where you're going to go do your own activity. Or you're dragging somebody along with you and you're going to do this. You're going to go down and compete. And when you're first in it, a lot of times these guys will get good dogs right off the rip, especially if you got the ability to make that happen. But say you go down there and you got 3 or 4 times where you go down there and get your butt waxed. I've had a bad stretch of hunts. I'm almost on a year since I placed a dog, outside of a one-day hunt. It's frustrating. That's when you got to find the grit and the drive and the gear behind it and say, all right, yep, I'm still in it. I'm getting my butt beat right now. I got to figure out, I'm going to back up and punt and figure out why. And I've just sacrificed. I think about it the other week when I went to the Masters. We took a handful of dogs down there and came back pretty much empty-handed. And I left work. I left my wife. I left my kid. It beat on me. It beat on me mentally a little bit that I just gave up that time with my family and that I could have been making some money and providing for nothing. I had a great time. I enjoyed it. I loved every second I was down there, so please don't take that wrong. I would, even if I knew the outcome, I'd probably go again. Now, I wouldn't want to pay to go down there and do it again, but I would probably still go again and just enjoy myself, have my time to it, that kind of deal. Now, something to me that also goes around with the time thing. Lack of sleep and still being able to function. Because I don't care what it is. I don't care if you are down south and you can run in the daylight on the weekends. Guess what? You still got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and get your dogs ready, get them jacketed up so you can tell them what's doing what, whatever the case may be, and drive 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours to go do it. This isn't just I'm going to go in the backyard. Some people are lucky, but I'm just going to go in the backyard and go turn loose for a little bit. All right, and we're back with the Elite Nutrition Break with Mr. Chip Kosher again. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Canine Remove. This is essentially a wormer. It's a parasite remover. It's a powder, usually topical powder that you can do. You can also mix it into paste. It is one of the quickest acting products that I've ever seen as far as removing worms and parasites.
Well, why don't you tell me how you're using it, what application you're using it, then I'll tell you what's in it.
All right, perfect. So the way I go into it is when I first got the product now, I go a little heavier than what the recommended is. I actually just go ahead and do the 1 ounce per 10 pounds, and I feed it daily for 2 weeks. I go straight 2 weeks. And you correct me here if I am wrong, but everything I've always been taught about worms is you kill the originals, and then a week later the babies are gonna, the whatever eggs were in it you got to kill those again. So
absolutely,
I give them 2 straight weeks, maybe even a day or two longer than that, whatever it ends up on that 50-pound bag or 2 50-pound bags of feed, whatever I end up doing it with, and I go straight into that, and then I have gone between 2 to 3 months before I have to do it again. I just watch how the dogs are, keep my eyes on them, keep an eye on their stools, and I just put it on about a 3-month cycle. Once every 3 months, I hit them again for 2 weeks, or if I see something that spikes, how these hot, wet summer months are. I'll hit them again if we go running in a hot pen and I see a little loose. I'll hit them with the canine remove for a couple days, and it tightens everything right back up, and we're good to go for a little bit. But I know the last time.
So when you're worming, how many dogs are you worming?
Usually I hit everything I own at the same time. So right now we're sitting at 26, 27 dogs, something like that.
What does that cost you to worm 26 dogs?
So the price of that is $38 for a 2-pound container, and I did not use a 2-pound container for all 28 dogs.
So you
I did
28
2 weeks
dogs for less than $38.
For less than $38.
I tell guys I don't think that it is a very effective wormer.
Right.
2, for you guys in the running dog world, you guys have a pile of dogs. There is not a less expensive way to worm a dog on the market, and it 100% is just as effective as the stuff that costs a lot more. I mean, like you said, 28 dogs for less than $38. That's unbelievable.
Yep. And I've had dogs that, not necessarily while I was on it, but, especially right before I bought this product and got to testing this product out, I've had 1 or 2 instances where they may have gotten into something in a pen, or, run a dog on the outside. You don't know what the heck they're eating out there. There's a lot of variables in that. But they come back to have some nasty stools, and, I don't know what they got in, so I hit them with the wormer, not necessarily that they have worms, but more or less as a preventative. And when you give this, guys, it will turn their stools a dark brown, black color. Like, it is absolutely working. You can tell it is just pushing through, and then them turds are hard as a rock when they come out too. I almost feel bad for them, how hard them things are as they come out. But you go from that loose stool you may have some worms, you may have something inside that's kind of getting after them. 2 days later, I promise you won't see them no more. Promise you won't see them no more. So what is all involved in the product and what's inside it that makes it work so good?
Well, first of all, the other thing that I'll mention before we get in is it is a physical kill too, not a chemical kill in most cases. So those parasites are not going to be able to develop an immunity to it. So it is going to 100% work all the time. Again, I'm not running 28 dogs. I'm running 4 dogs. Right. And so I just leave. I run bird dogs from September to April. Those are my season where I'm running, where they're out in the field. And, that's the frustrating thing, like you mentioned before. I can worm my dogs today, and they go get in a gut pow tomorrow, and I got worms again.
Right.
Whereas with this, I just leave them on it all hunting season long. And I know I'm worm free all hunting season long. Right. And I do get a lot of questions. Well, it's just diatomaceous earth. I can get diatomaceous earth at the feed store or whatever. Yes, diatomaceous earth is one of our active ingredients. Right. But we're also using reed siege peat in it, which is another active ingredient. And the other big one that we're using in there is the Pata Arco. And the pot of Arco is that same kill agent, one of the kill agents that we're using in the rebalance. So
Gotcha.
that pot of Arco is also going to help take care of some protozoas like your Giardia and your Coccidia. I'm not saying I'm going to hang my hat on it if I'm selling puppies that I'm 100% Giardia or Coccidia free, but it has more than just diatomaceous earth in it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a much more effective product than just straight diatomaceous earth. Not to mention straight diatomaceous earth is not very palatable for a dog either.
Right.
If you guys do not buy my stuff and you're using diatomaceous earth, make sure you're buying freshwater diatomaceous earth and not salt water, because salt water will poison. Like there's two different types of the stuff you use for your pole filters is different. That will kill a dog.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? It's two different.
Right.
Comes from two different sources and they have different properties.
Now, you correct me if I'm wrong on this, too, and I think we have mentioned this maybe when we did one of our episodes before, but the diatomaceous earth, as it comes through their system, goes to their stool, and is on the ground, does that not help maybe prevent some parasites from growing in the ground as well? Am I incorrect on that?
Parasites as well as flies, because essentially the way that works, the way diatomaceous earth does its killing is it's very absorbent. It will absorb 300% of its own body weight. But underneath of a microscope, if you look at it, it has little razor blade edges on it. So the way it kills is it basically cuts that up and then it sucks it dry. Whether it's a worm, whether it's an insect, insects are protected by what's called an exoskeleton. Like their skeletons on the outside of their body, not the inside.
Right.
And that skeleton is protected by a waxy coating.
Right.
Essentially what the diatomaceous earth will do is it will scratch that waxy coating, and then they'll get dehydrated both from the diatomaceous earth and from the sunlight, because once that waxy coating is gone, it destroys their ability to keep that dehydrating.
Right.
Same thing with eggs. The diatomaceous earth will kill the eggs before they even hatch. So, I mean, yes, it's going to help with your parasite control, but it's also going to help with fly control if you got a barnyard or anything else like that around. Our sheep mineral is loaded with diatomaceous earth because sheep, and goats both graze so close to the ground. They're going to get 10 times the parasites that a cow is, just because of the way they eat.
Right.
Again, we're taking care of that, and it has the reed siege peat in it, and the goes well in the sheep mineral. But it is more than just that regular old bag of diatomaceous earth.
Yes, yeah. And I've had a lot of questions. You mentioned puppies earlier. I've had a lot of people ask, how soon can you give it? I will speak from personal experience, and then I'll let you kind of take the wheel on that too, as far as puppies go. But I have given it as early as 8 weeks old. I know that might seem a little early, but when they got off the mom, I took them off the mom at 6 weeks. I gave them about 2 more weeks while they were on the ground, and I started worming right away. I did go a little light on it to start. The first round I did go a little light. I did about a half ounce per 10 pounds, but I did the big mix and just gave it to them like that. I did it in I did it in 20 pounds. I did it for 20 pounds and fed them 20 pounds at, however I normally fed them. And I did my puppies every 2 weeks. I would hit them on a top dress every other day for three rounds. So I'd have 2 weeks. I'd go every other day for 3 rounds, and I'd do maybe like that quarter ounce scoop on each of their bowls, and that's how I wormed them. And I thought it did great. Never saw any worms out of the dogs. If it did, they were dead worms coming out. So to me, it worked really early. I don't know what the recommended is, but I did kind of take a gamble on this litter I just had, and I started them at 8 weeks and started them on a cycle.
You were actually late.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with it, there's nothing in that product that's going to harm a puppy.
Yeah.
What we need to make, but obviously it's more difficult to give them prior to them being weaned. So what I would typically do is recommend, we're going to wean somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks, depending on the breed of dog. So if we're in that where they're not fully weaned, I will mix it into a paste and give it to them at that age as well. but I'm not like I don't want to give it to a newborn puppy because I don't want them to aspirate on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, if you guys start giving it to that bitch about 20 days before whelping, the puppies are going to be getting that in utero, and then they'll be getting it through the milk too, and that will totally really help if you have a female or if you have a kennel where you've had problems with Giardia and Coccidia. It will help keep that diarrhea at bay. I mean, Excellent. You still want to use tetrazzerol, metronidazole, or something to do a kill before that puppy gets 8 weeks old. But it will. Anytime your pup gets diarrhea, we risk them being dehydrated and not healthy.
Right. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that about the moms. I've had a lot of people that have messaged me about the remove and saying, "Hey, I feel like my pregnant Gyp has some worms coming on. Can I give this to them?"
Absolutely.
So the answer is 100% yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you're not going to overdose. You can double, like if you know that you got worms, you can double that dose, and you're not going to hurt them.
Yep. I had one dog one time that I guess he just got into some old dead animals laying around somewhere, and he come back and the next day it was just nasty, and I did a double up on him, and I'm telling you, 2 days later it was gone. He was back to normal, feeling 100% again. That's just
first time I ever experienced worms in a dog as an adult is I was out bird hunting, but I was kind of just walking and had a young dog. She wasn't trained to hunt yet, or she was just kind of with me, just to be with me and get used to the gun and whatnot.
Right.
And I shot a rabbit. She got into the gut pile. I didn't think anything of it. Well, I can't tell you the last time I shot a rabbit that didn't have tapeworms.
Right.
And so about a week later, we had stuffed peppers for dinner, and me or my wife gave the dogs the leftover stuffed peppers, and Julie's like, "Wasn't that rice cooked?" I'm like, "Yeah." No. She didn't know that was tapeworm coming out. She thought it was rice, and she had a wake-up call that day. I mean, that was my wife's first experience of, "Oh my God, it's a real tapeworm."
Right. Oh man, that's funny. But all right. Well, anything else? And you did mention it too. You can mix it up into a paste and do a direct shot if you want to do it that way. So that is another option for you.
Like I said, you guys are not going to more effectively worm your animals for less money. It's like you. What did you? Let me ask you. What did you use to spend to worm 28 dogs before you started using canine remove?
Oh Lord, I know the product I was doing. It was $100 for a jug, and to do the full 2-week cycle, I probably ate up every bit of that jug trying to do a 2-week cycle on that many dogs.
Yep.
Great products. There's other great products out there. But they work. They work phenomenally. I definitely ain't knocking nothing like that. But as far as
and that was you buying the cattle one or the goat one, probably.
Yeah.
Dog one.
Right. So I mean, you're saving $60-$70, if not more, trying to feed, trying to worm that many dogs.
Absolutely.
So, but all right, anything else you want to add to it?
I don't think so.
Excellent. All right, guys, another Elite Nutrition break, and Mr. Chip Kosher, and we're going to get back to the episode now. You need to make sure that you are able to function with lack of sleep. It will wear on you. It will absolutely and totally wear on you. Or you need to make sure that you have the ability to catch back up. It is tough. It is tough sometimes. So that's, to me, is one of your first big questions that you need to ask yourself if you're thinking about getting into this, or maybe you're into it and kind of struggling and saying, all right, is this worth it? What am I doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Next to me is responsibilities. I know that sounds weird. I know that's going to be a weird little cue and kind of rollover. So I'm going to hit a couple talking points. First one's going to be pleasure running. I know I've mentioned that a couple times. And, I mentioned that we'll talk about this later. Time to run up here in Virginia is not easy to come by. So your responsibility, so you calling, you're asking, you're saying, hey, man, I need a week. I need a day. What do you got? And the pen owner finally says, hey, man, look, I got this I got Thursday night. We cast at 10 o'clock at night, and you can bring 4 dogs. Then you can bring 4 dogs. You better jump on it. Some people are going to hear that and say, 10 o'clock at night casting for 4 dogs? No, I'm not doing that. Well, guess what? Now, guess what pen owner's not going to call you back and tell you that, hey, man, you can bring 20 dogs, or hey, you can bring whatever you want. Just lost it. That quick. If you get a chance to do it and you need to honor it, don't screw it up. Nothing, I've talked to many of these pen owners, and the one thing that infuriates them the most is people, there's 3 things to me, is entitlement of, oh, no. I asked to run, I need 10 spots, I got 10 dogs, they need to run, and I only want to be able to cast at 4 o'clock and run till 10 in the morning because I want to be able to see my dogs in daylight. No. Guess what? It's their pen. They make the rules. They make the times. There's probably a reason behind it. It's not your business to why they do it the way they do it. Could be because that helps keep the game conditioned. Maybe they know that's the best time for running. Maybe they run their dogs into daylight the next morning. Whatever the case may be, it don't matter. If that man calls you and says, hey, I got room for 3 dogs, you can come if you want to, we're casting at 10 p.m. Up here in Virginia, I don't know how it is in some of these other states, but I know up here in Virginia, you better listen, you better jump on it, and you better be respectful about it. Yes, sir, thank you for your time. I definitely appreciate it. Now, going on, you done accept your agreements, and you go to your lots, and you're looking at them, and it's 9 o'clock at night, you done worked a full day, you done sweated, you know, come home, you had to cook dinner, take care of the kids, whatever the case may be. You're looking at them dogs like, man, I got to be up all night. I got to drive 45 minutes to this pen to run 3 dogs at 10 o'clock at night. I'm not going to be, I've got to run these dogs for 5 hours because that's what he told me to do is we're going to run 5 hours because whoever runs it with them, that's their thing and that's their night. So guess what? That's respect. Run it. Now I got to be up from 10 to 10. So that's looking at 3 o'clock in the morning. We can finally start catching up. And I know my dogs are a little bit of a handful, so I'll probably get my 3 up by 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then I got to drive 45 minutes back. And, oh, shoot, man, I'll be home by 4:45, 5 o'clock to unload them, put them in there. And then I'm walking in the house at 5:30. I better not get into bed dirty. Well, better not get into bed at all because I got to go to work on Friday at the end of the week and no sleep. Welcome to field trialing. But don't you look at that. Don't look at that scenario in your head while you're sitting there looking at them dogs in that lot and saying, you know what, I'm not going to go. First off, if you have something come up, don't just no-show. Call them like, hey, look, sorry, Grandpa fell and slipped down the stairs. I got to go take him to the hospital. Or my truck broke. I can send you a picture of my truck broke if you really want to. Whatever the case may be. Don't cancel last second without a good freaking reason. Because you cancel last second, guess what? That's 3 spots that aren't getting paid for to run in the pen. If you do have to cancel last second, you ought to go pay the box. The next day you need to go pay the box. Pay the man. Say, hey, it was my responsibility to be here and provide you this X amount of money to go pleasure run. I'm gonna pay you for doing that. And I do apologize. I do apologize for missing it, and I'm sorry. But cancel last minute because you just don't feel like it and coming up with some whack excuse or just not saying anything and not paying the man, or at least offering to pay the man, it's not going to bode well. You're not going to get no pen time. That's part of your responsibility to say, yep, I'm going to take responsibility for what I did and what happened. And last thing that the pen owners hate the most to me, and from what I hear, is be respectful of the freaking pen. Don't tear it up. Don't tear it up. If you look at a bottom that you get ready to go in and you see it's nothing but a mud hole, do not take your truck through it. Why? Why would you go down there and get stuck? Then you done gone down there and make big old ruts and, oh man, I'm hung up. So now I got to call Billy Bob from down the street and get him to come pull me out. Now you got another guy in there, and maybe the pen owner don't want no extra people in there. Be smart. Don't throw trash around. If you do a fire barrel, make sure it's out the next day. Just be responsible, guys. It's really not that hard. Think about it. Treat it as your land. You wouldn't go and throw trash all over your land and tear it up and spin up and fly around and, and be smart when you're out there, guys. Especially if you got other people in the pen with you. There ain't no need for you to be driving 25, 30, 45 miles an hour in a daggone fox pen. Come on, guys. And if you make a mistake, just own up to it. I've done it. I've said, man, that didn't look as soft as it was. I made a rut. I tried to clean it up a little bit, but I put a rut down in your bottom. I texted them or called them the next day and said, hey, I'm sorry. I do apologize. I can come back and fix it. And guess what? Respect was given back because I was actually honest. That's all you have to be is honest, guys. Now, you're looking for dog hunting apparel to rock to your next event? Visit dogtight.com and check out the lines of shirts, hoodies, and hats just like this one up here on my head that I'm wearing right now, with looks that fit our style, comfort that is unmatched, and supporting another houndsman as well. Get your Dog Tight swag today and use the discount code HoundsTales15. That's HOUNDSTALES and the number 15 at the end to get 15% off your order. Now, let's finish up this episode, guys. I promise, right here at the end of it. Thanks, y'all, for holding on tight with me. Another responsibility for you, yourself, and for your dogs. Travel. Maybe you do have a pen locked in. Maybe you got in with a guy and he says, hey, every Friday night you can bring 6 dogs and come run with me. Sweet. Well, don't let your dogs get what I call pen sour. That is, they only know how to run in the one pen. When you take them to another pen, they get lost as a freaking goose. Be willing to move around. Go to these other places, explore, go to other pens, call down there in North Carolina and say, or call down to South Carolina or Georgia and say, man, hey, look, I got a hunt in Swainsboro that I want to go to in a couple months. I want to get down there and pleasure run. I'm going to drive that 4 hours to go down there and pleasure run for a little bit so they can see the pen, so they learn the pen a little bit. 2, it gets me out, it gets me to meet new people, see new places. That, to me, that's part of your responsibility, not only to yourself, but to the dogs. Get them out there. Get them going to different areas. To me, I don't pleasure run my dogs on the outside. My field trial dogs, they don't see the outside. So to me, you moving them to these other pens, that kind of helps them keep a little bit true to me. They don't get used to cutting swinging in the same pen all the time. That makes them, have to hold that track. Maybe hunt one up. Maybe look for some game. That to me, that's a big deal breaker. Next up on your responsibility is watch your dogs. Don't get me wrong. Everybody does. Everybody gets to a pen. They're like, man, I can't catch nothing. I can't see no crossings. I can't see these dogs. Every time they get close, they turn. I'm just going to go sit. Fine. Take your break, go sit, do whatever you got to do. But at some point, you got to put your eyes on some dogs. You owe it to yourself and to them dogs to go out there and actually put your eyes on them. Now, watching them on a GPS, that ain't putting your eyes on them. Them GPS ain't as accurate as everybody thinks. You can't tell who's leading the race. I've watched a GPS where it said this dog was definitely out front. It was pinging just in front of the other dog, and I'll be daggone when they crossed the road, the other dog had him by 40 yards. I said, all right, well, that's the last time I ever believed that. You'll see it. You watch enough, you'll see it. Don't let, so, you know, let me rephrase that. When you can watch your dogs, when you take the responsibility of watching your dogs, that helps you not let the judges at a hunt 100% tell you what's going on with your dogs. Now, you watch your dog every week. You see that dog, he's running with these people's dogs, and he's out there, that dog's first, second, and third in every crossing. You're excited. You're like, all right, this is the real deal right here. We're ready to go. Excited. You take him and haul that dog down there, and he gets back, and he's got, I think it's going to say it takes 450 to get into the top 10. Your dog has 200 points. Man, my dog sucks. I can't stand this, blah, blah, blah. It looks so good on the week. Don't you watch that dog, you're going to learn. Quit letting these hunts tell you what's wrong with your dog. You need to watch your dog and tell yourself what's wrong with it or what's good about it. Now, scratches can be slightly different, you know. Obviously, I don't think every scratch is perfect, but you go to a hunt and that sucker gets scratched for babbling. You say, okay, maybe he was just frustrated. Then you go to the next one, he gets scratched for babbling again. You're like, maybe these guys are on to something. Maybe that's something I need to be watching for. Then you got your eyes on it. You say, oh, crap, he does babble. If you'd have been watching dog from the get-go, you would have known he's probably babbling. But what I'm saying is, you know, sometimes you got to pay attention to scratches and what they're doing in hunts to tell you about your dog. But don't, if you watch your dogs on the regular, watch them every week, watch them every other week, whatever you choose to do, and you say, yep, I know this is a great dog. It was just a bad hunt. He got scratched. He made a mistake in front of the wrong place and wrong person. You know? Also, when you're doing this, try to run with other people. Try to bounce them around. You know, it's real easy to get kennel blind when it comes to this stuff. When you're sitting there watching your dogs and they're out there and they're, oh man, that dog is so fast. Oh my gosh, I love that dog. And I've done it before and I think I still do it. And I'm like, yeah, we can go down there and we're going to do just fine. When you go to this hunt and you run with some of these other guys and you get your, you know what, wrecked all evening long, all morning long. Because you went and pleasure ran with some guys that had different caliber dogs. Now you just seen that, okay, as much as I like this dog, if I'm going to beat these guys, I got to step it up. We got to go to the next level. Now you know. It's your responsibility to yourself and the dogs to run with other people. And last but not least, on the responsibility actions, be patient, guys. Be patient. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be very demeaning. It can be very hard on you when you make the call on a Monday and say, hey man, I need to pleasure run something. Nope, I don't have any room. Hey man, I need to play. Nope, don't have any room. Nope, don't have a room. Don't have any room. Don't have a room. Don't have a room. Ask them. Just keep asking. Be patient. It'll come. It'll come. And then once these guys start seeing you at the pen, you're doing the right thing, you're doing the right motions, you're being respectful, then all of a sudden you notice that, hey man, I got a couple more spots. Do you want to bring some more? Or, hey, I got this night open too if you want to come run. Then that word gets around and you got another place calling you and say, hey, you know, I got some extra room if you would like some. Take responsibility to yourself to be patient. It's not always easy getting time. It's not always easy getting to the winner's circle. Yes, I've made a field champion, but I'm still chasing a clock too. I want a clock. Never got a clock. I want a clock. Don't ask me why. I don't even like going to one days, but I want a daggone clock. I want one bad. I also want to get to the point where I can go to some of these big money one days and go down there and compete with these guys. But I got to find patience in that. It's not my time for that. I don't have the ability. I don't have the funds. I don't have the time. I can't do it all. I can 3-day right now, and that takes up a lot of time. But I don't have it in me to do both. So, guys, find your patience. Find your patience on getting pleasure run time, getting into pens, but also find your patience with yourself on getting to that victory lane too, getting to that winner circle. It takes time, guys. All right, guys, another quick break real quick. The Hounds Tales podcast is proud to partner again with Low 10 Outfitters. If your kennel is looking for new apparel to rock to the next field trial, look no further than Low 10 Outfitters. They offer shirts, hats, hoodies, coats, and other accessories with custom logos for your kennel or your hound on it to go with it. With top quality merchandise and long-lasting quality, you can't go wrong with Low 10 Outfitters. And very soon, actually right now, we are offering Hounds Tales Podcast apparel on their website at low10outfitters.com. So please go by and check it out. There's a whole section in there under in one of the tabs as for the Hounds Tales Podcast. Get shirts, hats. We're talking about maybe adding some other stuff, but need to see if we can get some movement on the shirts and hats to start. But also, if you're looking for trophies for your next field trial, be sure to check Low 10 Outfitters out as well. So these guys have been great to deal with. Mr. Gonzalez and them, they do a great job, fast turnaround, top quality equipment, and you just can't ask for better, guys. I want to thank them again for coming on board with the Hounds Tales podcast, and I won't hold you all up anymore again. Let's get y'all back to your episode, guys. Now, second to last topic I'm going to talk on is, and I'm going to harp on this really hard here, judging. It is part of your duty as a foxhound to judge freaking hunts. I'm so sick and tired of, there's enough people in this sport that already only want to take. They only want numbers. They don't want to judge. Oh, I'll judge for my buddy, but I'm not going to go judge any other hunts. And when I do judge, I'm going to sit in the truck the whole night, or I'm going to sit on this chair the whole time. Well, I can judge just as good in this chair. Okay, whatever. Now you just look lazy. But unless you're older, gentlemen, if you're older and that's how you do it, I have respect for you. Please don't take that wrong. Anyway, guys, be ready to go to some of these hunts during the year. I know it sucks where you have a free weekend. You say, man, I could really use a run for my dogs, but I'm going to give it up to go watch these other people's dogs for 3 days or go watch them for a hunt. I'm not saying you have to do this every weekend. I'm not saying that you need to sacrifice everything that you're working for to go judge all the time. But go out there and do it some. Maybe once a month. Maybe once every other month. Whatever. Make it happen. Go out there and and judge. Be responsible. Give back and you will get the respect back. Simple as that. Simple as that. And one thing I almost forgot was get a rule book. Find a rule book. Whatever it takes. Get a rule book. Understand the rules. Learn the rules. When you go down, be ready to know everything about it. Know that if you go to this hunt that we're running under Masters GTP rules and it's 30% on endurance on the third day, you need to know that national hunts you can show a scratch dog. You need to know this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. Learn these rules, guys. Understand what's going on. Understand what's going on. It's that simple. That simple. And don't ever stop learning. That have to go with the rule book and learning things about the sport, learning things about the dogs, asking questions. You're never too old, too good, too brave, too bold to learn. Always ask questions. Always soak it up. Some of these older generation are telling you things without you even knowing because you ain't paying no attention because you're a know-it-all. So, get a rule book, guys. Respect it. Now, here's the doozy that nobody likes to talk about. I don't like talking about it. I don't want to talk about it with my wife, I can tell you that. Now, before, you thought about all this, okay? You said, yep, I can handle it. I'm ready to go judge. I'm ready to be tired on a Thursday morning after I just pleasure ran, and I'm ready to accept defeat. I'm ready to know that I may struggle to get in on some pen time. Now, before you go do all that, I want you to reach in your pocket, grab out a $100 bill. If you don't have one, don't get into the sport. Now, next, I want you to put it in front of you. I want to take a lighter. If you don't have one, go buy one. Doesn't matter. Take that lighter, light that $100 bill on fire. If you can take it and laugh at watching that $100 bill burn up, and you don't have any problems with it, let's go field trialing. Let's go do it. That's field trialing. Taking $100, throwing it away, and praying to God where it went. You don't know. You know, all jokes aside, guys, you're going to spend thousands each and every year. I mean, thousands between feed, pleasure running, entry fees, buying other dogs, buying puppies, medicines, travel expenses. Legit, you're going to have thousands and thousands of dollars wrapped up into this. If that's not in your budget, if you can't look at your budget and say, yep, I can blow this amount of money right now, or yep, I can't afford to do this, this, and this, prep yourself. It gets expensive, and it gets expensive quick, my friends. So, if you're listening and thinking about getting into competition field trialing, I think these are the things you need to really consider, in my opinion, before you jump and say, yep, I'm fully committed, I'm fully ready, let's do this thing, I'm here for it. I think these are some of the main things that you got to really accept. So, guys, I'm sorry again that I had to go solo on y'all and ride it solo again. I'm working. I'm trying my best to get somebody in here and get a recording done. I promise you, and hopefully we can make it happen soon. So, all right, guys, thank y'all so much for listening, and like always, happy hunting.